Hello everyone, welcome to Consumer Behavior and Tourism. And today we take on business orientations and consumer behavior and tourism marketing. I believe we have gone through some of the most important concepts in consumer behavior, particularly in tourism, in our previous lessons. And today we are ready to take on business orientation and consumer behavior and tourism. And this lesson is divided into two. The first part is business orientations, and the second one is exploring methods that are used to study consumer behavior or tourist behavior in that sense. And in tourism, tourism marketing, understanding consumer behavior is not optional, it is essential. So whether you're designing a new eco lodge or curating a travel experience or launching a promotional campaign, your success depends on whether you create what tourists want or whether you try to convince them to want what you create. And this brings us to two most critical marketing logics, which we have explored in our previous lesson. We make what we sell, or we sell what we make. So these logics, I told you that they are rooted in business orientations that have evolved over time, and they directly shape how companies interact with consumers. So by the end of this lecture, you will be able to define and differentiate between major business orientation. You will understand the implication of each for consumer behavior in the tourism sector. You will also be able to identify how businesses transit from production focused to consumer oriented strategies. And in the second part of the lecture, you will examine methods used to study consumer behavior in tourism and also apply, so as we can develop informed and competitive marketing strategies. So by definition, business orientation refers to company's core approach to market, how it conceives product and communicates the features of a product to customers, and organizes itself internally. So it answers questions such as who leads the process of value creation? Is it the company or is it the consumer? And value creation is how company or service provider or destination delivers benefit that are meaningful or worthwhile to its customer in return to what these customers are paying for. It could be money, time, efforts, and it has elements such as functional, emotional, social, and economic value. So in tourism, orientation influences whether a hotel design a room based on consumer feedback or on cost efficiencies, or whether a destination market its natural attractions or just sells out tour packages without a regard for the demand in the market. Now let's take on the business orientation. The first one is production orientation. This one prioritizes internal efficiency, mass production, and cost reduction. And it assumes that tourists will choose services that are widely available and affordable regardless of their desires. So it believes that consumer prioritizes price and availability, but also believes that demand will always meet supply, believes in its internal efficiency, and also believes that the market is undifferentiated. I would say this is somehow useful in some situations, for example, mass tourism development, because it encourages the culture of standardization, and therefore this could be useful for mass tourism development, but also for budget travel, because it is cost efficient, and it could be appealing to some segments such as young travelers or first timers or groups but it has the negative implication of commodification of experiences, but also ignoring evolving customer experiences. The second orientation is product orientation. Product orientation believes that consumers will favor superior products or services, quality, performance, and innovation. You see, and therefore it believes that the best product wins in the market, and that quality is objectively measurable, and therefore there's limited research here. And I think you can think of some examples. Let's take an example of Dubai, how innovation has been applied across different tourism products and services in Dubai. There's even robots delivering food to guests in their rooms. And also we have some innovation in Zanzibar, like the underwater restaurant or the underwater rooms where guests can sleep and, you know, watch sharks moving around in the water. So that's some example of the innovations in the in hospitality. However, there's a risk of uncertain return on investment, because, you know, this innovation may require a lot of investment, and there's actually uncertainty of whether these innovations are going to actually satisfy the needs of tourists, or it's just we want to be innovative because the best product wins. This is what they believe. So there's basically ignoring what tourists really need, but there's a lot of cost incurred here, and most of the time this innovation or the performance may not necessarily match the actual needs of tourists. So that is the second orientation. But also it has some advantages. I would say it's not just, you know, negative. It could generate attention. You see, if something is very unique, it could, you know, create attention amongst consumers, but also enhances a reputation. You could attract some, for example, publication in major platforms, but also it may help you to justify premium pricing. You see, you know, innovation, best quality simply helps you to justify, or helps marketers to justify their premium pricing. And let's move on to the third one, which is selling orientation. This one is consumers. It assumes that customers or consumers naturally want or seek out some product or service, and so they must be persuaded, they must be pushed, or they must be convinced. And some of the selling tactics here, such as promotions, discounts, personal selling, aggressive advertisement, because it believes in persuasion, supply exceeding demand, that is more offering than there is interest. Promotion creates demand, and therefore marketing is focused on short-time volume and not necessarily needs. And one-time transactions are okay because it doesn't really need to build customer loyalty, but rather just increase sales volume. And this is very useful for destination marketing, because promotional campaigns may focus only on increasing number of arrivals, for example. So here, consumer behavior, tourists are treated as targets. They're just targets, not necessarily partners. Some of the channels that are used here include some of them are very modern. They are, I would say, modern selling orientation channels, such as email marketing, which is actually very common today. Online travel agencies such as Booking.com and Expedia or TripAdvisor. I believe you have seen some of these, and you have used some of them. I've personally used Booking.com so many times. There are some situations where you would go on Booking.com and you land on a property, and on the side it says booked 5 times today or booked 10 times today. So it kind of like convinces you to also book such statements. Also social media ads, which are very common. And so there are situations where selling tactics is valid and necessary, you see. So you can use selling tactics if you are promoting new services or targeting, price-driven markets, because of some of the tactics such as discount can be used to attract price-driven markets, but also reviving travel after some crisis, example post-pandemic. But don't use such tactics for a long-term marketing strategy. I don't think that's a good idea anyways. The next one is marketing orientation. So the entire goal is to identify, to understand, to satisfy the needs and wants of a customer. And therefore, this one prioritizes the market. It's in this orientation where you as marketers need to ask yourself, who are our tourists? What do they want? How can we do better than others in the market? So I would say this one is one of the most excellent orientation, because it assumes, or it understands that tourists are diverse and informed, and therefore encourages marketers to do segmentation. And also it recognizes needs and preferences which are dynamic. Therefore, there's a need for market research, but also satisfaction for success, and therefore experience quality, you see. And in tourism, we definitely want to create the best experience among tourists. And also, marketing is not a department in marketing orientation, but rather a philosophy, because every unit serves a tourist. So it's not about having a marketing department, having a marketing unit, or having a marketing team, but it is a philosophy. Every unit serves a tourist or a customer. So it uses a lot of guest reviews, customer relationship data, travel data, to tailor or to create products or services. The challenges here is that it requires deep research, and therefore it is costly because of customization, and it may reduce the economy of scale as compared to other orientations that we just explored. And it may lead to a competitive parity, and therefore differentiation gets even harder here. And tourist needs are unpredictable, and therefore there's a need for, or a need of, continuous research. And it is beneficial because when tourists feel seen or understood or valued, this is when now they recommend, they leave positive reviews, and also remain loyal to our products or services or even our brand. And the last one is societal marketing orientation. This balances three important things. The first is needs and wants of the target market. The second is requirement of the organization. It could be the goals. And the third is long-term interest of society, that is sustainability and also social well-being of a society generally. So here businesses has moral responsibility, and not to harm society, but also it believes that tourists value ethical and sustainable practices. Some of these studies, for example, the Booking.com study revealed that nearly 76% of tourists want more sustainable option. And so that having a 76% suggests that it is no longer, sustainable travelers are no longer a niche, And yeah, so it evolved, this orientation evolved with the concept of corporate social responsibility. And this is what led to what we call today sustainable tourism. And it evolved as the result of damages that were caused by mass tourism and over tourism. So those are the business orientations we were going to explore. And here's is a summary. As you can see, production, product selling, marketing, and societal marketing. And you can see the focus of each one of them and the consumer role. So as marketers now, you are able to design your products or your services as per the orientation, but also what you want to how you want your consumers, how you want to position your consumers in those business orientation, and at what time. So it is, well, it is, I wouldn't say up to you, but you have an idea of how this orientation may shape consumer role while designing products or services that cater to their needs and wants. Now let's explore the second part of the lesson, which is application. And we have two methods of studying consumer behavior. That is quantitative methods and qualitative methods. So consumer behavior research answers fundamental questions such as what drives tourists to choose this destination over that one. How do natural, cultural, social, psychological factors influence decision? This is something you already know. But when, how, and why do tourists book? When do they travel? And why do they share their experience? So by systematically studying these behavior marketers, you can design campaigns and offers that resonate, especially in a dynamic and a competitive industry like tourism. So like I mentioned earlier, we have two categories of methods. That is qualitative methods, which is basically, qualitative is understanding meanings, emotion, subjective experiences behind tourist behavior. And I have four methods there: focus group, in-depth interview, ethnographic research, and travel diaries or journey mapping. Focus group discussions are moderated group discussions, and they aim to explore how people perceive, how people interpret, and how they discuss a product, a service, or even a brand. This one, however, requires skills in moderation. The second one is interviews, which is can be one-on-one, semi-structured or structured, where researchers explore individual experiences, preferences, motivations in depth. And the third one is ethnographic research. Ethnographic is observing tourists in real world situations, and sometimes participating in their activities and understand their unfolding behavior. So in marketing, ethnographic can help you to improve service delivery touch points, but also helps you in training programs for guides or other stuff. And the last one here is travel diaries. These are like written or digital records that tourists keep during their trip. It captures thoughts, feelings, experiences, and some moments. So it involves plotting the tourist experiences, I would say chronologically, and identify emotional highs and lows. And you can use this for family tourists, solo travelers, and travel records, because it helps you to identify key moments of impact, the wow experience. There's sometimes that tourists may feel like, wow, this experience was amazing, but also enhance a memory making experience. You want to make memories, and not just memories, good memories, but also helps to fix hidden service gaps. When the experience is bad, you simply can't notice. And the journey mapping can be framed into phases. For example, you can go, I believe we will explore this in market research, but you can frame it into 4 phases. The booking, for example, the booking, the arrival, during the stay or exploration, and departure. So during the booking, how is the emotion? What is the pain point? And where do you need to improve? During arrival, what is the emotion? What is the pain point? And what do you need to improve? During the stay, and also departure. So this one helps you to identify what tourist feels and what discourages them, the pain points, and the opportunity for you. It presents an opportunity for you to make improvements. And the second category of methods is quantitative methods. And these are quantitative is collection and analysis of numerical data. So we are exploring, for example, number of tourists, you see percentage of bookings online, average length of stay, you see all these are numerical, a scale of maybe 1 to 10, how satisfied a tourist is in a scale of 1 to 10. All these are numerical, and they include 3 methods, as I have mentioned there. One is survey. Survey is a structured method using set of predetermined questions, And one of the tools used in survey is questionnaires, which are, set of questions. They can be closed-ended, they can be linked scale, can be multiple choice, they can be demographic items, for example, age, gender, nationality, and so forth. So that's the first one that measures satisfaction. It can measure satisfaction, revisit intentions, therefore may help you to design retention strategies and gather some testimonials. The second one is online behavior analysis, OBA. So here tourists interact with digital platforms, and therefore it helps marketers to study behavioral data such as for example, page reviews, click path, or time on a website. So marketers track things like search filters that were used. So it helps them to identify what amenities, for example, or features are valued by customers most. They also may track bounce rate, like for example, the customer engaged in a certain post or they are turned off. But also they track exit, exit rate. Do customers lose interest, or do they click on book now or click on more info? So are they able to turn interest into actions? So some of these today, most of these are computerized, I would say, because, for example, I believe you can all explore your Instagram. I believe you do have Instagram pages, and if you are using Instagram business page, if you post something, you could simply go to analytics and gather some of these informations, and therefore the same applies to a company website. It can help you track search filters, bounce rate, exit page, and click on the more info or book now. Now, the online behavior analysis helps marketers to improve user experience, that is UX, and also interface design, for it to be convenient and even appealing to customers. But also it helps in personalizing a website, retargeting, and also optimizing a site layout, even an application layout. So these are some of the impacts of the online behavioral analysis. And the third one is A/B testing. Sometimes it's called split testing. So this one is comparing two versions of a single variable to determine which one performs better. So here tourists are randomly shown versions A and B, and marketers have to observe which one leads to better results. Example, you can run two versions of Instagram ads. The A would be, let's say, explore the old stone town. This one is appealing to history lovers or cultural tourists, and the B is discover dramatic landscape. This one is appealing to nature seekers, you see. So which one, now you study which one attracts the tourists more than the others. So here these are some of the quantitative methods that are used to study consumer or tourist behavior. Now in marketing research, there can be so many other methods, and I understand that these methods could be improving every day, and therefore I encourage you to go through some of the other methods in marketing research, and see that they are or can be useful in consumer behavior as well. And thank you so much for listening. This marks the end of our lesson, and I encourage you to drop questions, comment, concerns, anything you feel that you want to share with me in the comment, or you could reserve them and ask me when we meet in class again. But I encourage you to ask them here for the sake of so many others. And yeah, I wish you all the best, and thank you so much for listening.